Let's try this again, eh? So you know what it is. It's Tom V. It's TomV.com. Loudverse Media. Gonna get back into it. Got my technical difficulties sorted out. So without further ado, let's get right back to where we were. Go ahead and set this puppy for 45. There'll be more to come, but what we're doing, if you haven't followed along, although I'll post up part 1 of this stream too, just recording these 3 leads, going to comp them together, then going to do some vocal editing. So, without further ado, let's take a listen to what we're doing. So what I did was set up a hotkey so I can toggle them off. So this one is A, this second take is S, this third take is D. That type of trick is helpful when you're going to be trying to comp together because I don't have to constantly move my mouse over here and then move it back here. Perhaps I'll make a tutorial on that. So how to more efficiently comp together leads. But anyway, let's go ahead and listen to these 3 different takes for these 4 measures, and let's see which one we take. And then, you know what? I need a third and final one, which we will call our... So let's go ahead and rename 1. We can tab over when we're renaming 2, 3. Well, in fact, that's 3. That's 2. This was 1. Okay, cool. So let's start with 1. A. Okay. Okay. Okay, definitely this one. And I guess we need a final one, so I'll make this one F, and that's our master comp. So let's hear this now. Cool. All right, let's get into it. So we're gonna go ahead and listen to A. Okay. Okay. Between the second two, so let's hear this one again. Okay. They're pretty close. I'll take the third take, but I'm going to do some MIDI editing on this after the fact. So, all right, back to A. Take 1. That's a cool lick. Not well executed, but... Okay, I'm going to take second take again, but I'll do some editing on that. Cool. Take 1. No. nobody says we can't comp even shorter together. Let's try comping this first measure with maybe what we'll do is go bar by bar. Let's try comping this first bar from the second take with the rest of the third take. Okay, so copy and then take all of that. And then let's hear this. I'm going to click on the... Nice. I'm not even going to go and bother to start editing yet. Let's just dig into this last part. So, take one. So I think I jump into this too early, and I go high too early. So maybe what I'll do is mix, let's just get take two out. Okay, yeah, take, you know what, we're done with lead two, so I'm just going to clear that out. Whatever. Okay, cool. So now what I'll do is I'm gonna make, just don't have to move my finger as much. That's D. So A on the keyboard is the hotkey to turn on take one. This is, what happened to S? Right. So S turns on what's essentially take two now, and then D turns on the master comp. So we're halfway through. If I listen to this, I think this is, and let me go ahead and save while I talk this through. I think this is going high too soon. So what I want to do is probably take this low part here and then this high part here. Although if I don't like this high part, I can always take this part and then transpose it up an octave. So something to that effect. But the idea is, if we just listen to the first take, I jump from way down here up an octave, and it sounds a little bit too in your face, particularly when I go with the dun-dun-dun-dun right away. I think I just want to start with the dun-dun-dun-dun. See how that's kind of too bombardment versus this. Cool. So anyway, let's listen to this, the first 4 bars of take one anyway. Okay, that's pretty damn good. Let's take... So what if I try something like this? Okay, and you know, we're going to be doing more editing on these, so I'm not beating myself up now over it. Just want to comp together a good take, then we can consolidate it, then we can make some edits. So let's go back to take one, and let's find out. We got 8 bars left to go. That's pretty dope. I like this one better, although I'm not gonna... Wow, I can't decide on that. That's a tough one. Know that these are both marked. finally, let's go back to take 1. Okay. Obviously, take 1. Although, nice, yeah. Plus, by using take 1 more, it's more in the spirit of originality. Okay, so let's hear this comp and decide on this part. Yeah, I like not using the blue note there. So, let's consolidate this together and now start the fun part. So, actually that part was pretty fun too. But what we want to do now is dig in here and make some edits. If I hit any ducks, if the velocities weren't great, if anything was off beat too much and sounds weird. And then, although that third one I'd want to do minimally. Ducks is the first pass. Then, yeah, I'd say ducks is the first pass. Then tempo, stuff that's way off beat would be a second pass. And then a third pass could be notes. But when you get to velocity, maybe there's some effects that I want to put on stuff with panning and that type of stuff. Is there an auto filter on this? I don't have an auto filter on this, but you know, I can access one if I need it. Anyway, let's hear this all the way through once, just listening to how it flows, and then we'll dig in and do some polishing. No click for this. Cool. Overall, I really like that. Obviously, there's a lot of polish that needs to happen. So one thing I like to do is set this at the fidelity that we're going to be editing for. So as I flow through, why don't I make these 0, deactivate those so I know. Okay. This sounds a little bit early to me, so what I'm going to do is take it, move them just a little. If stuff is obscenely early, I'll edit it a little bit. And if you've seen my streams before, you know I'm pretty against quantization, particularly when you play stuff in. Really what I'm doing is I'm keeping the spirit of what I played. So see how these 3 notes are early? I'm not going to go ahead and move those, you know. Occasionally I'll do something like that where I snap one back, but by and large I want to keep the spirit of what I played while just tightening it up a little bit because it needs some tightening up. In particular with quantization, a lot of times that just blows the doors off it, and not in a good way. And maybe I just don't know how to quantize this type of stuff well. You know, sometimes I'll do it with a groove or that type of thing. But if I played it in, a lot of times I have an idea of what I want. And really, it's just going in and putting some elbow grease into it and doing it the hard way, air quotes. Okay. So it starts to get a little bit late. Dun, 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 dun. So something like this. Okay, cool. So we're moving in a good direction here. Maybe just move these slightly over. I really like that lick. I think that's good. Let me try a little something here. And, in the spirit of not deleting notes, I'll just zero those out. Okay, so this part is very late. So let's see how I want to do all this. I could just grab all this and move it up a little bit. Again, see how I pulled it back so far for the first one that it brought some of the ones later in front of where it should be played, in front of the beat. You don't want to do that because that is really changing the spirit of what you played. So in this case, I dragged some of it back a little bit, but then I went in and I just edited a couple of notes by themselves. The idea is it's all late, so it still has basically the original feel that I played it in. And I think that's the right way to edit leads if you're going to edit leads, so that you're not making it sound too mechanical and you're not over polishing where it's going to lose its feel. And you're not doing something which you wouldn't have done in the first place. So when I probably every time I played this in all three of these takes, and even when I was practicing, I was always late on this, That's just maybe a little hard fingering to do, so I'm just always late on it. So let's hear that though. Okay, cool. Let's hear it back from the top. We've gotten through the first half of it, so let's hear this. Go ahead and save. And then let's listen to this comp part. There's 4 bars of a lead-in, or really, 2.5. But there's a 4-bar lead-in here, and then 16 bars. So let's hear this. I've got a couple ideas, but let's keep going through it because I think we're on a bit of a roll here. So now we're gonna start editing these faster chord patterns. Okay, so some of this is really late. Particularly, it starts getting late here. So maybe I'll just do these chords separately. And again, what's nice about moving these triads around like this, I didn't hit them any at the exact same time. The velocities all still remain, but what we have is a really nice, see that? I mean, this is how life is. It's kind of messy, right? So different durations, different velocities, a little bit different timing. This is, I'd like to hear more of this in electronic music, frankly, because stuff sounds just overly fucking polished a lot of the times. Okay. And, contrast that with something we were doing the other night where we were maybe a little too much. Contrast that where I actually typed in the chords and then added a 5% random groove on it. That's cool, but that's what I'm looking for that particular part. So a contrast between how mechanical and how feel-based your parts sound can also add some dynamics to your music, not in the sense of volume dynamics, but just a dynamic sound that's engaging. Okay. This one is probably a little too late still. Nice. This is going to be really good. So let's... So see how these are a little bit all ahead, except for the first one. So maybe I can use that. So again, it's just kind of going with how I played it and dialing it in a little bit. Holy jeez. And what if I do something like play a first inversion? I think that's a cool way to jump between what I want to do. So let's get this where we need it. And then maybe take this one down. So I'm going from the root to the first inversion to the second inversion and then up to the root an octave higher. This is a nice way to transition up. So let's hear this. And I never would have thought to play this live. So this is one of those things where it's kind of the flip-flopping the notes around after they've already been played in, using the same rhythm, duration, and velocity. But yeah, maybe even something like this, so it takes a little bit longer to get up there. Yeah, I think that's dope. So let's move this back a little bit. I don't know what, I'm assuming that shouldn't be there. I don't know about those inversions, but let's leave it for now. These are all late, so I'm going to bring them back. Oops. I'm going to do these separately. What it do, what it does, what it did. How's everybody's Saturday going, huh? Pretty well so far? Oh, I can hear laughter. Some people are having a good time. No. Okay. I don't know about that, buddy. So for those of you joining on Twitch and YouTube, we're doing a little multi-stream. So if you hear me talking to somebody that isn't there, it doesn't mean that I'm not crazy, but it means that that's not a symptom of me being crazy. Were I to be crazy. Yeah, so this triad here is a little bit wonky. If I see one where I'm kind of just, I don't know, before doing that, let's hear it, because sometimes that can add some more rhythm to it. So where are we at? Let's see. Probably too much, right? So, and then another thing I'm thinking is I want to get these. Why don't I start taking these down an octave? Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe. This could be cool. So check this out. I'm going to start going down here. That's dope. Cool. Bring this puppy back. You think I could do lead editing and comping as a service? Because I love doing this. I mean, I really do enjoy doing this. I think some people would find it monotonous, but there's all these little different tricks in your tool bag that you can pull out to make it. What we're trying to do is make it sound, I guess, in honesty, like a better keyboardist played this part. So not that it was programmed in, but just someone who was more talented than I or more skilled than I at playing keyboards played it in. So see, again, these three notes we're going to keep ahead of the beat because that's how I did it. These ones will be late. So really we're just moving in the guardrails a little bit so that it's not as wild of a ride. For these, I'll move it up a little bit, and then, see, they're all still late. That might have been a little too much. Way late. And it can be easy to get carried away. One thing I've noticed is that I start to be more anal about the edits as it goes on. So you just kind of want to be mindful of that. And in this case, I'm just going through to the end. I've kind of got a sense for what's going to sound good and what's not, so I can make the edits without listening to it, and then I'll have a pass through with my ear. But a lot of these edits can be made just with your eye, which is it's pretty interesting. This one. So now we're going to be early, which is interesting. It's all right, maybe a little bit less early. I feel as if I was getting pretty jazzed up towards the end of playing this, and that's made it early. But that's interesting. This is the part that I was hypothesizing that I was always late playing, and this time I'm way early playing it. So let's hear this whole chord part now. is so legit there. Let's hear it this way, though. Nice. That is pretty dope. Now this part, I had an idea when I was listening back. What if I doubled this up? So it's as if I played it twice, or played it with both hands. So I'm going to grab them, take them down. Let's hear that. What if I did this for the whole part? And then I've got one idea too, and then let's listen to it. What if I switch this guy right at the ending to be, quarter notes, switch this to be a 1. And bump the feedback up as it goes. Nice. All right, cool. Let's hear this in context. I love how I drop the synth out and then bring the synth clavier back in. I think that's a nice touch. So let's start from the beginning of this part. Yeah, I think in context, that package, this whole section in here is going to be pretty, that's pretty sweet. I think there's a lot of potential there for sure. So let's see. The doubling up part is cool, but it's a little bit disingenuous, I think, although it's almost as if it's an effect that I play. Let's take a listen to that and see what we think. Better about doing that, and then maybe what I'll do is edit these slightly so they're different. So yeah, that's better. That's more realistic. So for this part, let me just go through here and just make some slight edits to these so they're not at the exact same time. A little too much. Nice. All right, let me even make these a little bit quieter. Cool. I think that's pretty perfect. Let's hear it again with a discerning ear from the top. I think these have to be a little bit tighter. Yeah, see, when I start, I have a bigger margin for error. Towards the end of the edit, I don't. So let's hear this again. It sounds a little bit choppy still in the beginning. I don't know if I love that note there. Just make it slightly different. snares, I lowered the velocity of the high ones, and I raised the velocity of the lower ones just to balance it out a little bit. Let's hear it. Some of these parts go really well with the percussion glitch, I think. Cool. There's a couple parts where the melody is not working. Let's hear this again. Here's an idea. Take that up an octave. This one right here. Maybe this to E. Bring this one up there and do it all Yeah, I think so. I think that's good a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and save and call it for now. And then what we're going to do in our next stream later today is take the vocal part that I originally sung in a major key for the beginning motif, and then transpose those notes around so we can get that working with this minor key refrain of the motif. So thanks again, everybody, for joining me so far. We'll be back soon. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but got that sorted out for now. You know what it is. It's TomV.com, Loudverse Media. Until next time, peace.